Okay, I am on. I was okay, now I'm on. I mean, I was on before, but I was muted. I was expecting my intro video to play, but then it didn't, so that's why I'm a little frazzled. Anyways, I'm so glad to be here with all of you. Welcome to Pen to Paper. I'm Leah Lindeman, author of the Canadian Reminiscence series and the new Accidental Sleuths. And today we're going to dive into why writers need accountability and why you should have an accountability group, either of writers or readers or both. And I'm going to share the why and the benefits behind all of it and how it's applied to my life and how it can be good for you. So, first, before I go on, I just want to say thank you for joining. You can like and subscribe to the video if you're on YouTube, but you might be watching this through Instagram or Facebook as well. And that's great. Thank you for being here. So, let's dive into accountability. First, I'm going to tell you a little bit about why I think accountability and being part of groups are very beneficial. Because for the first 7 years while I was writing my book, I wasn't part of okay. I was part of a group, um, but I don't think it was as often as I needed it to be, and I don't think it met me in my needs where I was. So, really, it took me 7 years to figure out how to write a book, and now that I think back on that time, even though none of it was wasted time because I published at the perfect time for me in my life at that time, but I realized that it probably could have been a faster process if I had been part of a writing group or part of a group of people dedicated to reading my work and giving me feedback on my work. So that's why looking back for all of you out there who are like, yes, I want to write a book or I'm in the middle of writing my book, I definitely don't want it to take 7 years for you to write your book. Granted, it was my first book. I was doing a lot of learning, but I think with writing groups, dedicated writing groups that you dedicate yourself to, I think you could even shave off some time from 7 years, maybe 2, 3 years, just depending on how focused you are and how often you are dedicated to these groups. So, what is accountability? Accountability is it could be a variety of things. It could be making your deadlines and meeting them. It could be getting together with other writers or readers who want to read your work, who ask for more, keep you accountable, and keep you going in your writing journey. But it's basically not doing it by yourself. It's including others in a trusted circle where you can ask them to say, hey, did you do some writing this week? I'd love to read it. Or you did some writing this week. This is what I did, and kind of tag back and forth that way. So that is what accountability is. Why is it beneficial to writers? Well, first of all, it is boosted productivity. Why do I say that? Because I think as writers, I don't even think you need to be a writer to have this issue. Whatever your dream is or what you want to put time toward, there are always these time stealers in our periphery, right? So, especially if you're someone working from home, or you're a mom who's a writer, or you work from home and you're a writer, there's all these little things that say, hey, instead of writing, you could be doing this. Like you could be doing laundry, or you could be doing dishes, or you need to cook supper, or you need to deal with the kids who are angry right now. There's a lot vying for our attention at home. When you either make the time to meet with a group of people, whether it's online or in person, or have that one on one phone call with a reader or another writer to keep yourself accountable, it just gives you that sacred space, that devoted space, that space to actually write and to prepare yourself for that space before you enter it. So if you know you're having that 1 week phone call with that other writer and you guys tell each other what you wrote that week, well, then you probably want to have done some writing, right? Exactly. Um, so you're gonna want to make sure you maybe did some writing at least 10 minutes a day, and then you can share that with your group. So this is why accountability is super important. And when you are accountable to people and you are actually putting the time aside for writing, then it boosts your productivity because you actually get some writing done. And those time stealers no longer have a hold on you. So the writing leads to higher word count and actual completed drafts. That's how it boosts your productivity. Next, let's talk about feedback. Feedback is essential for us to get out of our own heads, out of our own stories, and to understand what could be better in our stories and how it's good already. I actually just recently posted this little reel on Instagram. It's so cute. It's my pug. His name's Sir Winston Puggles. The first. And I turned around one day and on the floor, I'm just hearing this like shuffling noise, and he's got this the sour cream and onion goldfish. It's like sour cream and onion chips, but it's goldfish version. And he had this bag stuck on his head, and he's doing this all over and he can't shake it off and he's just stuck in the bag. And so I posted a reel on Instagram basically of him being stuck in the bag, and then someone takes the bag off and then he runs away. And I kind of likened that to when we're so stuck in our own story and that's all we see and hear and think and do, that we can't really see what the flaws are until the bag comes off, until other readers, whether they're actual just readers or writers, read it, put their input. And only then do we have the eyes to see that, oh, yeah, it could actually be better because maybe I write awkwardly sometimes, or maybe this character doesn't make sense here, or I have a plot hole here that I need to fix. It's important to gather people that you trust and ask them to read your work so you can actually see what the issues are. So we talked about productivity. We talked about feedback. Another thing that's important and why you should have accountability either in a writing group or a reading group is that you have community. You feel like you have support. You're not in this alone. Remember all the 7 years? I was pretty much alone in what I was doing because so far as I knew, I was the only one who was actively working on writing a book to publish it. I did know another author at the time toward the end of those 7 years, but I just felt that, oh, they're already published. They're super busy with their, regular job day to day. I didn't feel like they were accessible to me, like they could coach me or be a mentor of sorts. And if you're having that idea that maybe you know an author and you're just thinking though like, oh, would they even give me the time of day? It doesn't hurt to ask because I know when writers who are just starting out do that with me, I love to talk with them. I love to give them some of that my time to encourage them and in their journey. So don't ever let that hold you back that you think, oh, it's not possible. They wouldn't give me their time because I haven't published yet. A lot of writers are incredibly supportive, and we love sharing our journeys. We love encouraging other writers. We love stories. So if we hear of someone who has a story and wants to share that story, then we kind of want to be a part of that process and we want to help support that process. So never let that fear hold you back. Um, Also, another good reason for community is it gives you the ability to brainstorm with other people. Just how I said, even when you're writing your draft and you need other people to read it, even before you write the draft and you're just so in your head, you're like, I just don't know if this works. Sometimes just getting another fresh eyes and perspective on the potential plot of your story is good too. It's another brain with different ideas and different perspective, and maybe something they say could be that one little thing that just sparks a whole other chain reaction in your story, and you wouldn't have known unless you had talked to people. I know sometimes we prefer talking to our characters over real people, but seriously, we need to talk to other people too, especially writers. I'm not saying you can't talk to readers too, but I guess with writers, we just know the ins and outs of how to create a story and what goes into that. But also, readers are incredibly beneficial. So please talk to readers, talk to writers. The point is, get your community, gather your community around together. And with that support, with that community comes learning about different perspectives, learning proper grammar, learning how the different processes of writing a book. Maybe you're a pantser, but someone's a plotter, or maybe you're in the middle. Just the more you talk to people and the more you ask questions means the more you learn. And it may not fit your style, but at least you're aware of other styles. And again, you're not alone. And again, it keeps you accountable. So let's talk about, how do you put together an accountability group? Maybe you're like, yes, I love this. I want all of this. I don't know how to go about this. Okay, so a few little examples. Um, if there's nothing running in your town, maybe just start something. And a great place to look to see if there's already something running is the library, your local library. But if there isn't, go to your local library and ask, "Hey, can I start a writing group?" And, put together your flyer, put it around town, and most probably you'll have people coming out of the woodwork saying, "I want to write," or "I've thought of myself as a writer, but I'm not writing regularly. I want to be accountable to a group of people. I want to be supported." Then start it. Just start it. Another type of group that you could start or be a part of is, maybe people in your life who are writers. Maybe they don't have the opportunity to step out of their home, or even like once a week scheduled meeting together is too much in person, but you could do it virtually or even by text. Then do that. I have a group where I think there's 5 of us authors. And basically, this group is just there to keep each other accountable. Did we write one sentence a day? That's it. But one sentence a day usually leads to many, many thousands of words a day. Or maybe if it's just a few hundred, that's okay. But at least we're actually moving ahead in our projects. Some of us, if we're not writing, we're editing. So we say, yeah, we edited half a chapter or this many amount of words. But at least we know that we're moving in a direction together. We may not be writing the same things. We may not be in the same points in our processes, but at the end of the day, we're there for each other. Oh, I just see a bunch of highs. I don't know why, but when I do these lives, I forget to look beside at the comments. Great information. Thank you. I really appreciate that. I hope that on this channel podcast is helpful to all of you writers, because at the end of the day, I just want all of us to succeed, whether that's just writing for yourself, whether that's publishing and, selling thousands of copies. But the point is getting our stories out. And even though getting our stories out is incredibly personal, it's also very community minded, because people can read our stories and grow from our stories. But how are they going to do that if we're not actually writing and if we're not actually accountable to others? So that's my little spiel on why I think accountability is incredibly important, the benefits of accountability, and how you can go about building that accountability group, whether it's in person or virtually. So I'm going to ask you right now, if you have any suggestions. I probably should have asked this at the beginning, but if you have any suggestions for writing tips or writing advice that you would like me to cover on this channel, please comment. I would love to hear your ideas, because ultimately I'm here to serve you. Whatever experience I've garnered over the last 10 years of being published and 15 plus years of writing, I want to serve you so you can succeed in the best way possible in your writing journey. So if you have any suggestions, comment down below. If you can't think of it right now, but you want to reach out to me later, you can do that as well. Just DM me and I'm happy to hear your suggestions. And I hope that, so what's your homework? Your homework, not homework. You're probably gonna be like, I'm never coming back on here to listen again. I don't want homework. My call to action for you guys is find an accountability group. And it could just be one person. If a group scares you, just think of one person, maybe one writer and one reader, right? One thing I forgot to mention actually for readers, just focusing more on the readers aspect, is beta readers. When you're actually writing your draft, you can send that to beta readers and they can give you their feedback. You can also do the option of something like Wattpad, where you're writing like chapter by chapter, and whoever's on that platform can give you their suggestions and like live time, right? So that's another way to do it as well. Or you can just do that in person, like, three friends who want to read every single chapter you put out, and you just send it to them on a chapter by chapter basis. At least you're getting feedback for your work. Um, One thing I will mention before I close is it's important to foster a good community that is helpful, not in the sense of only pointing out what's wrong, but that they encourage you to, well, first of all, they encourage the good things you've written. You always want to highlight that, okay, not just point out the bad stuff. So if you are an accountability partner to someone, always make sure that you are encouraging them as well as pointing out the flaws. And yeah, you just wanna be part of a group that's extremely supportive and loving no matter what. So maybe someone's going through a health crisis, you wanna have their back, and not hound them for material. If or maybe they're going through a loss or they're grieving in some way. Maybe they just need that space and that break and that time, before they can get back into writing. Just find a group of people who are supportive, who are empathetic, and who are there to have your back no matter what. So that is what I would encourage you to do. Find that group, whether virtual, whether by text, or whether in person, and then be the change. If you want to foster that kind of community and that spirit, then you be that. And if you are that, people around you are going to gravitate toward that, and they're just going to amplify it, and it's going to be a really beautiful group to be a part of. I'm going to leave you with that. Hope you all have a wonderful week. I'm so, so happy to get back into this. I know back in like last November, I was like, yeah, I'm relaunching. The reason why I was super spotty that whole time was I was just going through a personal crisis of my own. It was really difficult. And just also, I had set it for Mondays, and that time wasn't working out anymore because new job came in, and the way my Mondays were working out just wasn't working. But this works really well. Thursdays at 3. I'm going to be here for you guys every single week, giving you writing advice, or maybe it's going to be an author interview, or it's going to be a giveaway or something, or my launch, which is coming up really soon because I'm releasing my novella, His Girl. So we're going to have a launch party on this platform. I'd love to have you all there. That is going to be March 7th, Saturday at 7 p.m. Eastern Time. So take care, everyone. Have a great week.